You know, video games are defined by their interactivity. So it's interesting that we rely on non-interactive cutscenes to tell their stories. And no, QuickTime events do not count as interactive cutscenes. Metal Gear Solid 4 in particular got hit on pretty hard due to how long their cutscenes are and, you know, how many cutscenes there were. It was a joke for a long time that it was basically a game movie for the PlayStation 3. But I don't watch much TV or that many movies, so I'm generally okay with the game that has a lot of cutscenes or a lot of long cutscenes. And that's why I can enjoy games like Shadow of Destiny.
Shadow of Destiny, also known as Shadow of Memories, was published by Konami in 2001 on the PlayStation 2, and the game is essentially a disc full of cutscenes connected by a walking simulator. You have to travel from one point to another to view events that drive the story forward.
Hey, now here's a guy with no worries. I'm sorry I'm so late.
Well, that's okay. Here, take a seat somewhere.
However, the challenge is trying to figure out where these cutscenes are. Shadow of Destiny follows Ike, who seems to be destined to die. After being revived by a being known as Homunculus, he gains the ability to travel through time. However, preventing his death once doesn't change his ultimate fate, as his murderer continues to make attempts on his life.
Are you all right? Isn't there any way you can avoid being stabbed to death? What about putting something like an iron plate under your clothing? And if you make good use of that, perhaps... Please, make a good job of it.
Ike has to time travel between different eras if he hopes to survive. For example, if your food is poisoned, you need to go back in time to get the antidote for the poison, then travel back to the present and drink the antidote to prevent your death. Failing to do so essentially makes you start the chapter all over again.
What? Huh?
But the ultimate goal is to find out who the murderer is and stop him from killing Ike altogether. There are 4 different time periods you can travel between: 2001, which is considered the present day, 1980, 1902, and 1580. However, the entire game takes place in a single town, so you can see the town and the people of the town change over time. It might sound a bit confusing, but the game feeds you most of the information you need to know, so it's always obvious which time period you need to be in.
Oh, I should have tried more things when I was young. I'll be 50 soon, and then it's all over. Life is short. You there, make sure you leave with no regrets, all right? Live each day as though it's your first and last.
Okay.
For the most part, all the solutions are set in stone. Occasionally you'll have some choice, but it's usually superficial. However, you will get to make story choices that change the outcome of the plot. There's the usual dialogue choice that alters the game's story.
Huh? You're what?
Wait a sec. Did I just say something really important?
What?
But other times it also depends on where you are and at what time and what cutscenes you actually see. It's one of those games that if you want to see all the endings, you should sit down with a guide and make it through. And if this were still 2001, you could use that Dreamcast 56K modem in its web browser to do that. Speaking of Dreamcast, Shadow of Destiny doesn't look much better than a Dreamcast game. It bleeds the aesthetics of an early PS2 release. There's a high polygon count on character models, but all the models look a little strange and off.
Sir? Sir?
It's all right. I'm awake.
So, Ben, is the story worth it at all?
Yeah, I think the story's worth it. Oh. Wait a sec. I feel like I just said something really important. No, the story's not worth it.
Like many games in the early 2000s, the voice acting is really poorly delivered.
Oh, Hugo?
What?
Are you still, mother's lock of hair?
What?
I know how much you miss Mother, but you can't carry that thing around forever.
Shut up!
The time travel element of the game also creates a ton of plot holes. The developers simply just changed the properties of time travels within Shadow of Destiny, depending on whatever currently is convenient for the story.
Sir, please wake up. Are you all right?
But wait a sec. I feel like I just undersold an entertaining game.
So it is good?
Yes, it is enjoyable.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
the
I
voice
see.
acting
But I'm
is
awfully glad
pretty
to have
bad,
you
but
sold.
I find it pretty charming. Games from this era are definitely very entertaining to listen to at the very least. And in regards to the plot
Oh,
holes,
he's coming in
Shadow of
there.
Destiny is a tale you can't really take too seriously. It's a game that features multiple endings, and it's just fun to see how all these endings come together and connect in different ways. Although if you think too much about it, you're gonna have a headache at the end of the game.
Well, how about that? Just a small example of what I can do. How will you get home now? You better solve that on your own. You should be able to handle a little thing like that, eh?
So if you don't feel like actually playing a video game, give Shadow of Destiny a shot. There's the original PlayStation 2 release that you're seeing here, as well as a PC release. In Europe, there's an original Xbox version, and there's actually a PSP port as well. However, it features a more modern localization, including the voice acting, so it doesn't have as much as that early 2000s charm.
I've been expecting you.
Actually, I just happened to stop by, and I was wondering if you could tell me my fortune.
So find which version best suits you and give this adventure game movie thing a shot.
Thanks. I really need this. Please, don't just give me the usual niceties. This is very serious for me.
Don't worry.
You will keep what happened here a secret. Understand?
Yes. Everyone, give your word.
I promise. Forgive us, please.
Please.
Will that be, all? If it is, you could perhaps go away now. And everyone, go home too. Godspeed.